What's happening, everybody? I've got a delivery we're going to be making in Oakland. PCC Logistics is where I'll be going. It's right at the corner of 7th and Maritime, or right by that corner. I've been to that particular customer before, but I don't think I've done any footage of being there before. So, yeah, this will be the first time posting this customer on YouTube for me, but I say I've been there before. It's most people I know hate going to this particular place because it's difficult to back into the docks in. Come on, car, get your speed up. Alright, so if you've been following my videos, you might wonder how in the hell I ended up with a video going to, are you going to come over or are you getting on the 580? Alright, no, I'm not slowing down for you. Alright, anyway, because my last video I picked up in Waterloo, Iowa, and the load was going to Commerce, California. So, obviously I'm not on that same load anymore. Now, I was really liking that load, and the planner gave me that load specifically to hook me up with a load that would go by my house. He and I are friends, and he likes to hook me up with loads that do that. And anyway, so I guess the short part of the story is I ended up swapping in Evanston for this load. Evanston, Wyoming, that is, for those guys who aren't really familiar with where that's at. And Evanston is on I-80 right before you get into Utah from Wyoming. Alright, so anyway, the other driver had an HOS concern, or hours of service availability issue. He only had 1 hour left on a 70-hour clock, and basically couldn't get close enough on his last shift where he'd be able to reach the receiver on time himself. So he asked me to swap and help get it delivered on time, and which hey, I'm all for doing. If they need help with the load and I'm just running miles right now, it's like, would it have been nice to be able to take my own load home and then go deliver it in the LA area this morning? Sure, but it's not like I'm trying to do home time, and I get home enough, and I don't need to really worry about that kind of thing. And if it helps JCT out with getting the load delivered on time, I'm all for it. As long as it doesn't interfere with what I'm trying to do. So I agreed to do the swap, but and it was a tough one because. But originally the load was supposed to be delivered yesterday at 16:30. Today being the 4th, and it's due today at 12:30 this afternoon. So there will be some gap time between when I get to the customer and when I'll actually be checking in. So as you see, it's early morning hours. It's 4:23 in the morning at the moment. I started this shift in Sparks, Nevada. Could have been here yesterday. Actually, I could have delivered the load on time before they changed the appointment time, and that became that kind of became a can of worms, I guess, situation that I wasn't happy with. But we'll get to sort of that kind of story thing there. Alright, so summarizing that is, I swapped, and then I knew I had to get as close as I could on that previous shift, on yesterday's shift, or previous day, whatever, in hopes of getting close enough where I could reach Oakland on the next shift. I couldn't do another 10-hour break. But it was even if when I ran over 700 miles from where I originally started, which was Big Springs, Nevada, and ended up in West Wendover, Nevada. Did I say Big Springs, Nevada? I meant Nebraska. Big Springs, Nebraska, the Flying J, just east of where I-80 and I-76 meet up. That's where I started that shift. was already about 500 miles into the shift when I did the swap, and I ended up running another 200, a little bit more than 200 from there over to West Wendover. So I had an over 700 mile shift, and I don't normally like to run 700 plus. I can do them, I just don't normally have I won't normally run more than 700 unless I have an ulterior motive or some particular reason why I need to, like in that particular case. That I really necessarily need to, possibly not, but my idea was I got a load coming into California, and I got almost 200 miles of California to deal with. I want to get as close as I can, because even when I did shut down, I was a little over 600 miles out. I didn't want to take a chance of running out of clock. Not to mention you might have traffic delays or whatever along the way. So I had to factor all that in, and the lower speed limit here and what everything. So anyway, right now we're in the Richmond area and El Cerrito. Now we're going to be going through Berkeley pretty soon. Albany and Berkeley. Alright, so I was originally on par to get here before the appointment time yesterday, but the appointment got rescheduled, and that was kind of a learning experience for me, and it was also a test of my ability to not just go venting on Facebook about the situation when I didn't have all of the facts. So what happened there is, okay, well, basically I was already 690 miles or so in. I was within about 15 or so miles of West Wendover when I got a message on my Qualcomm saying that they were going to reschedule that. The load has been rescheduled to today at 12:30. So, and now when I was already on phase 2, 3 left lanes closed. All right, so I guess we'll be staying over here. When I was already on pace to get there on time for the original appointment time, I thought maybe, I got wondering why the hell was the appointment time changed. I thought that our scheduler, her name is Krisha, I'll just say that. There's no fault on her. If you just listen to the whole story, you're going to find out it's not her fault. And it's not JCT. I wouldn't necessarily say JCT's fault. I don't know. Kind of mistakes happen. I guess, whatever. Could they have been partly involved in that? Yeah, I don't know. Or it could just be the process, the communication and rescheduled process, the way it works with Tyson, that might have factored into that as well. And this is part of one of the lessons that I learned. Learn something new. Alright, so, anyway, I get this message, and I figured, alright, maybe their software was probably projecting me late, and maybe Krisha mistakenly believed that I wasn't going to make it, and rescheduled it without consulting with me first. But, bad idea there. Changed lanes at the same time as pickup was slowing down over here in the other lane. That put me in a bad spot, so I had to adjust to that pretty quickly. I don't even know why that pickup slowed down, but oh well. Anyway, like I said, I thought maybe she just made a bad assumption about my ability to get the load delivered on time. So I was furious. Like, I gave up a load that could have had me home for 17 hours and in a position where I could look at our washing machine problem and deliver the load 4 hours earlier than what this one is now due. And I bypassed that for to rescue this load. Alright, I want to say I need to be in the left when I get up here to the 880 split. So I want to move back over one more lane, but I got cars trying to pass me on the right, so it doesn't look like it's going to be nice. And I kind of vaguely remember when I get up here, the 80 and 880 split down here at the bottom of the southeast end of the bay. And I want to get on the 880 side of that, but for some reason I wanted to see here, maybe move over for now, but I want to say I got to go left. But with the lane closures, I'm not sure it matters at this point, because it did say 3 left lanes closed. Okay, so anyway, I go back to my story here. Alright, so I was mad. I was wondering, I was asking questions, why was my load rescheduled? But it was right at the end of their day, so I think Krisha went home right after she sent me the message saying it got updated, or it got rescheduled. And she didn't say anything about why it got rescheduled, and when I made an inquiry with our night dispatcher, he basically just told me to get with my DM and then also do a macro 41 to say that I'm running like ahead of schedule on my load now and this, that, and but I was like, I want answers. I was running on time as it was already, and I want to know why it got changed. Come on, Finn. This guy's going that slow and he's expected to move over. Maybe hit your gas pedal. Or that's a taco truck. Alright, great. Here's something else I might want to, a little detail here. I'm right behind a container truck, and I'm going to basically the same area where the ports are at. So, I mean, actually, all those container trucks are going, he's probably going to go to the same place I'm going to. Not necessarily the same customer, but he's going to the same exit, I'm almost certain of. So if I see him camping out here, and I know he's probably local if he's pulling a container, then it tells me I'm probably okay staying in this lane. Yeah, so here's 580 coming up. Actually, it's Alameda, I use 880. Yeah, and 880 is the one I want to use, but yeah, I see him right up ahead. He's doesn't look like he's making has any interest in moving. No, actually, I need to move over. Yeah, I was right. 880's on the other side. No, I do need to be on the left side. Meanwhile, I got on four-wheeler traffic coming up quickly, and I know they're going to be reluctant to let me over. These guys moved over, but someone else coming up fast there. Too bad there. Just because you can go a certain speed doesn't mean you should go a certain speed. Alright, anyway, that's long story short there. I can't really even tell shorten that story out, because there's more detail in there involved in this. So what ultimately led up to the swap, the other driver, he picked this load up in Olathe, Kansas at the Tyson DC there. Alright, how about this, because I'm already getting on 880, and the very first exit, I believe, is my exit, 7th Street, so let's focus on getting off the freeway first. And once we get on to Maritime, I'll finish telling my story, and then we'll resume. We'll continue. Yeah, see, 7th Street's the very first exit here. I'll finish the story once I'm parked. Come up to the stop sign, the light here. We're going to make a right on the 7th. For those of you that remember, you guys have seen me do deliveries in Oakland before. But it never fails. You might end up with someone who's new to the industry, and no, that's grand. I don't want grand. I want 7. I would say I knew something didn't look right because this looked like an elevated road, and I'm not looking for an elevated road. I'm looking for one down at a lower level. And so I suspected this wasn't 7. So we keep going up ahead, and I think I haven't gotten to it yet. I don't think. Yeah, correct. It's come up a little bit further, and 7th should be up ahead. I'm just not used to coming in from this direction. I normally come in from the south, not from the north. So I've used this off ramp before to get down here. It's just it's been a while. But anyway, when we get over here on the 7th, if you're a newer driver, haven't driven a truck before yet. There's going to be a 13-foot 6-inch bridge that I'm going to go under. So it'll be basically it's just high enough for my truck and trailer to fit under. A lot of you guys, especially if you get your CDL through a mega carrier, there's a pretty good chance they're going to tell you don't go under bridges that are less than 14 feet high because you never know. But in reality, alright, now we got a green, red arrow right here, so alright. Red arrow means no turn on red. Now take your turn. So I need to get in the left lane here. Okay, right where these railroad tracks are at, where the train's crossing over right now, is where the 13.6 bridge is. Go figure. Every time you see a low bridge like this one, it's always where railroad tracks are at. And you see, I'm not even worried about it. I've been through here so many times, and I know that I'll fit under it. But anyway, like I said, shut up. Like I was trying to say, most mega carriers, they actually got a train going across the tracks here. Wow. Alright, so I guess I'm going to be camping out here, waiting for the train to go by first. First time I've actually seen a train using that track there. Okay. So, yeah, like I say, mega carriers, like when I went to Sierra England school myself, their safety people would tell you don't go under bridges that are under 14 feet clearance because you never know. Maybe they also say that because Sierra England has what is that? They have dry van trailers there that run. They run dedicated accounts with that are. Some of their trailers are 14-foot tall trailers. So I think for that reason, they might say that where they don't want you going under anything less than 14 because you might actually have a 14-foot trailer. The guy was kind of going kind of fast. I was watching what he was doing. Anyway, but yeah, most trailers though are 13.6. All of ours are 13.6. Everyone, even at Sierra England, everybody there is like 13.6, except for certain dry van trailers that are 14 feet. Yeah, some people don't even know that 14-foot trailers exist, but they do. You find a Sierra England dry van trailer, look at their trailer number. For one, now if they have if it's a 5-digit 40,000 series number, it's probably a 13.6, and then if it's a 4-digit number like a 4,000 series, this guy, I don't think this train's gonna get by the time I'm not gonna sit here burning drive time watching this crap. And this fucking idiot there, you just can't wait in line, right? Because you just have to be right there, right up. Hey, let's look at the train up close and personal instead of being behind this truck because I can't make the turn because there's no point in doing it. And I can't fit over there anyway. This is how stupid and impatient these fucking four-wheelers are. Yeah. Why are you guys so fucking stupid when it comes to that? They're like, yeah, I don't care. I get some hate on this. Like, it's some of you guys do some of the dumbest shit in the world. Just call it like I see it. Anyway, like I said, they'll kind of scare you into thinking that you don't want anything under 14 feet you're going to run into, right? I remember my first time, I might as well set my brakes. Alright. Yeah, I remember my first time going underneath like a 13.8, 13.9, whatever it was, bridge, and I was team driving with somebody, and I was inexperienced. What is with you people? There's another one. Alright, yeah, so I remember we came up on we were following the exact route that we were told to follow because at New England they tell you you're supposed to follow this exact highway route on the OTR side there. Whatever their route instruction says is what they want you to do, and so we're doing this route and we're following it to a T, but then now this thing is saying we come up on this 13.8 or 13.9 whatever it was bridge, and now we're like, dude, are we okay to go underneath this thing? Because we were both inexperienced, and like I said, we had reason to think that we were going to be okay, but them teaching us don't go under less than 14-foot bridge kind of had us scared that something was going to happen. So we stopped, and I remember my co-driver was the one driving, and he put his four-ways on, started going all slow and all that, and then someone in a pickup, two people in a pickup, I remember came up. And now this train's finally speeding up. The guy in the passenger seat gets out and then says, "You guys worried about going underneath that bridge?" Because he could tell that we were looking cautious there, and that we must have been new. And he said, "Yeah." He said, "Oh no, you'll fit." I said, "I'm a truck driver myself, and I know for sure you'll fit underneath there. Don't worry about it. You're fine." So that's when I started learning 13.8, 13.9. I don't need to worry about. Let's see if he tries to cut. Alright. Kind of looked like he thought about doing it. Maybe until he saw the cars sitting over there. Alright. Alright, so anyway, going back to this story, since we're sitting here waiting now for the train to finish going by. Alright, so the driver who picked this load up in Olathe, I guess it was kind of like some Keystone Folly kind of shit going on there from what it sounds like. I don't know, I get the impression maybe he's never been there before. And might not have been, this car's going to cut because I just saw him behind the other truck that's behind me. Watch. Oh, maybe not. But he was in this lane, but then, now, see, there's another one that's over in was in the left lane behind this truck, but now they're going straight ahead. Anyway, he picked up the load. Now, if you've ever been to Olathe or watched my videos picking up from there, they have an on-site scale. And actually, their process is they won't even let you out the guard shack normally if you don't have a scale ticket showing that your weights are good. Using their on-site scale. So, it sounded like this driver did not use the scale on site. I don't know, maybe there was an issue with the scale because I've been there before and had it malfunction on me before and had to just wing it. Or maybe he just didn't do it, and then the guards there, when he was checking out, did not do their job correctly and make him go back on the scale before letting him come out and leave or whatever. So whatever the case was, sounded like he left their yard without scaling it and ended up heading up. I don't know how far down the road. Might have gotten to a Kansas City area and gotten on a Catskill there, or maybe even a little bit further. I don't know. But he went somewhere down the road toward I-80 and ended up Catskilling it there and found out it was like 79,880. Almost only 120 pounds below the 80,000 pound limit gross. So when you have weights that high, you have to start wondering, are there any axle weights that are overweight as well? And especially with the load going to California, that's more reason to be concerned, because you don't get APU exemption to use in California. And and sometimes people don't have the experience to know that there's calibration error tolerance of, and usually DOT officers are not even going to flinch at anything within 200 pounds over, at least on an axle. Turn your high beams off. Wait for this truck to go by, but then after these guys go by, I'm going to probably high beam this guy, let him know, turn your fucking high beams off. Alright, anyway, he ends up, oh, the train's almost done. Alright, now when do I get a green light? Alright, so he goes and scales it and then finds out he has a concern of some sort, I guess an overweight axle. I only heard about his gross weight his original gross weight. And that original gross weight was not the same gross weight that he gave me on his scale ticket. Because I got his scale ticket right here. And he weighed, damn it. Come on. Now my clutch is acting up, and I was waiting on this piece of shit light to turn green. Alright. Okay, so this is Maritime Way, or road, whatever. I got some people walking right here. We're going to find a spot in the middle of the road to park. My customer is right here. We're going to be checking in right here later on. I'm not due until, or actually is it this? It's not that one there. It's, yeah, I think it was the first one right next to the tracks. But any opening here, like, I probably could have parked right there. I'll go down the road, get me, I can only, just any kind of opening here. Looks like, no, that's right in front of a driveway, so I can't park over here. We'll find an opening sooner or later. I might be able to fit behind that truck if it comes down to it, turning it around. There's a driveway right here, so I can't park right here. The bobtail is didn't leave enough space there for me. We're gonna play this game again. We are. Okay, so I'm going to turn around right here in front of Unicold. And come on. God damn it. Is he waiting on me? I guess he is. See if I can fit in that spot over there. Kind of hoping someone would pull out by now, but maybe PCC's not open yet. bobtail wasn't there, I'd be able to fit in that gap there and have no problems. But and there, well, actually, let's see. Yeah, I should be able to fit. Come on, damn it! That fucking clutch. Back in front of this guy here, and should be able to fit. See how much space I have there. I might be all right here, but I want to make sure I know how much room I have behind me, because it's always hard to judge distance when you're looking back there. Okay, got a pretty good amount of space behind me there, probably at least 30 feet or so. But I can't really see him. I can see his mirror, but that's about it. I can't see much else. And let me go, damn it. I'll make sure this guy wasn't in the inner lane. Okay, yeah, still got some more room there. Not a shitload, but enough to move back a little bit more. We'll call that good. Alright, so alright, so finishing off this story here. Alright, so this alright, so he ends up going back to get it reworked, and I don't know what the deal was there. Maybe tandems were too heavy or something. Who knows? I know Olathe does have that tendency to load too heavy on the tandems, though. And he got reworked. And then got moving again. Ended up shutting down at Evanston because he only had an hour left on at 70 by that point in time. And shut down there. And they put him on the repower monitor because he wasn't going to make it to here to Oakland on time with that, because it was from Evanston to here is just a hair over 800 miles, and you can't do that in one shift. So he was going to need another 10-hour break, or not to mention he was running on recap, so he didn't even have he couldn't even run a full shift anyway, because he had 1 hour. And he was going to be getting 9 hours back on his recaps, and that's only 10 hours, and yeah, most you're going to get maybe 600-ish miles. It's somewhere in that, give or take. So he was going to be at least get 200 short. And, alright, so he needs help. And they got him set up with a swap with a team truck. And, alright, so they tell him, this truck's coming, there's their contact number. He makes contact with that other driver. They're about 500 miles out, and then he tells them, just FYI, this load is 79.4 something. 79.440. And his axle's scaled at 11.760, 33.780, and 33.900. Those are all good axle weights to me. But this guy only had a quarter tank of fuel at the time when that happened, and so he didn't have much room for more. Well, I think he had more room than he thought he had. 500 pounds of fuel, that's at least a good 80, I don't know, at least a good 70 gallons of fuel that he could put in there, and that would, at a quarter tank of fuel, that probably would have put him at least at least between half and 3/4 tank of fuel available. Get some good miles out of that. Some reason though, he was expecting this guy to show up, and then while he was on his 10-hour break, the guy hadn't shown up yet, and I think about 13, 14 hours into the break or whatever it was, maybe even 15, the night dispatcher, I guess, was starting to get a little concerned about the on-time status of the load or whatever. So she calls him up and asks him, "Hey, you gonna get rolling anytime soon?" And he's like, "What are you talking about? I'm waiting on my swap truck to show up." And then she goes, "There is no swap." Like, what do you mean? You told me, they told me earlier this other truck was coming, and I even talked to the guy, and he said he was going to be here such and such time, and so she looks in the system and looks at the load profile and starts realizing that the other driver, the team truck driver, ended up reneging on the swap. Basically, he called dispatch up and said he didn't want to do the swap anymore. And I think it was because he had concerns about the weight. Might have good reason to be concerned about that when he was on when it's a team truck, because team trucks tend to have heavier weight, heavier unladen weight on them, because you have two people. And you also have two people's belongings on the truck. So, and I've actually done a swap with somebody I know who's a team before. And it was a really heavy load, too. I skilled legal. I think I was like in the 79.5 range also. Actually, I think 79.7 is what I skilled that one at. So it was up there. But it was legal. All my weights were legal for me. But then when I gave them the load, they ended up scaling at over 80,000, and they were in a Freightliner, and two of them in the truck. So that was like interesting. So given that, I can't fault the other the team truck driver for not wanting to do the swap given that weight situation there. So they ended up having to find another person to swap, another swap truck. But meanwhile, before they did that, they had asked Tyson if they could get the load rescheduled. And with Tyson, the process is basically it's all email. So our people email Tyson and say, can we do a reschedule of this with this load because of this or that reason, and they have to justify it. Because Tyson can say no. They can always say, well, no, we're not gonna let you swap. We're not gonna let not swap. We're not gonna let you reschedule because this was your guys' mistake, not having a driver available or something, or your driver not showing up on time, or driver not managing his clock right, or whatever. Because they do have a right to investigate or interrogate the driver's logs. To see if they're running the route as efficiently as they should be. So when the driver's not running the route as efficiently as they could be, and it ends up with an on-time a late delivery concern, they start to get a little bit more reluctant to allow reschedules without doing without having a service failure. They'll do reschedules without service failure if there's a maintenance issue or weather or traffic problem that precluded anybody from getting there. But if they see that the driver was not running efficiently and they could have been there on time and not running efficiently caused them to be late, then they tend to not, it doesn't tend to go well. It tends to be, it goes as a LOS, or loss of service, or service failure on the carrier and the driver's part. So keep all that in mind, and it's just kind of general information for you guys to learn if you're not already aware. Anyway, they asked for the repower, but they were it sounded like they were not optimistic that Tyson was going to approve the repower because of the driver leaving the property without using their scale. And I don't know how much of his 70-hour clock got burnt on going to an off-site scale and coming back. I know he more likely had to have gone to at least Kansas City, south end of Kansas City, and I don't know, might have ended up all the way in St. Joseph or somewhere different, and then had to come all the way back because of that issue. And I don't know. I know this guy swapped with his thorough at doing his pre-trips, but I don't know. I didn't ask him what kind of overall trucking experience he had, or other details about that part, because all I knew at that point in time was he had a load that seemed to be scaled just fine. His weights are all good. The tandems are at 40 feet, and there was no problem there with any of his weights. And generally, my truck tends to weigh less than a lot of other trucks, from what I've experienced with swaps. In fact, when I did take the load over, I ended up scaling it over only like 79.1 and change or something like that. 79.120, I think, is what it came out to. So I was more than 300 pounds lighter than him, and I had half a tank of fuel on my truck. And also keep in mind, no, maybe not. I never seem to be able to put more than 140 or so gallons into a Freightliner, but never mind. He's on a T680, so right? No, right? Yeah, I think it was in T680. But my truck, I tend to be able to put more fuel into when the low fuel light comes on than what a Freightliner driver can do. I can put up to like 170 or so. Usually when my light first comes on, I'm somewhere in the 160 to 170 range, and then I've put as much as 180 gallons in, and without running out of fuel, topping off, whatever. Anyway, I take his load over, I scaled it, double checked, and I found it was fine, and even 300 pounds lighter than his. I get it moving down the road. When I left Evanston, I had 3:15 left on my drive clock. And like I mentioned, I'd already driven 500 miles before that, and I knew I was 800 miles away. So I was hoping I'm gonna get this load as far down the road as I possibly can with what clock I have, and give myself the best chance of getting here. And the way I run my calculation, I take my governed speed or planned drive speed, subtract 10 from that. So if I'm governed at 70. Subtract 10, that puts me at 60. And you can follow along here if with using your own governed speed or whatever it is you plan to run. And all right, so multiply that by the number of hours that are left on your clock. 60 times 3, in my case, that's 180 miles. And then add in the minutes remaining to whatever that is. I had 15 minutes, so 180 plus 15, that's 195 miles. I think from Evanston to the Pilot in West Wendover, or at least to the state line there, was right at about 200 miles. So it looked like I was just a little bit short, but knowing that I run 70 miles an hour, if I could run 70 straight on through, I can make up 10 minutes per hour, up to 10 minutes per hour. But I knew it wasn't going to be that easy, because I had there's a section of I-80 in between Echo Junction, as we call it, where the 80 and 84 split is at. They're about 30 or so miles into Utah. You take the 80 side there, and it had about in between there and the Park City cutoff, basically US 40, there is a section there where it's 55 mile an hour truck speed limit because of all the curves. It's like about a 5-mile section, I think, from about the 155 mile marker to the 150 mile marker or something like that. And so So I knew that was going to slow me down, and then also it's a heavy load, and I got Parley's Pass and Parley's Summit right over there, or Parley's Canyon, whatever. After I got past US 40, in between US 40 and I-15, that's where Parley's Canyon and Parley's Pass are at, and yeah, and I knew that was going to slow me down. Yeah, steep grade there, and both uphill and downhill to deal with, and so that wasn't going to help my situation. Then once I got past Salt Lake City, then it should have been okay. There's like one hill to deal with over there. But then I find out as I get by Tooele or whatever you pronounce that damn town's name, the exit for that, there's a digital signboard over there saying roadway blocked at the 64-mile marker, expect delays. It's like, great. So I'm looking on my Google Maps, and I do see that there's some kind of a traffic delay right over in that area where it said. Didn't know what was going on there, but it's something. And as I get work my way eventually closer, it gets to where whatever that backup was, it got itself cleared up. The incident was still there. It was basically a truck crash, truck facing sideways, and I have footage. I'll make sure I try to add this in here. It basically looked like a T-boned a bus or something, and the back end of the tractor was, or the truck was, or the trailer, I mean, was blocking the right lane. But by the time I got through there, the traffic was light enough. We were all able to just sail right on through there, just kind of go slowly past the scene for safety reasons, and then go back to normal speed from there. Anyway, I made it to, I was going to make it to Wendover eventually, but about 15 minutes before that's when I get that message in, and I found out this morning, well, I guess yesterday morning now, from our planner, because I talked to him on the phone and found out that, we had that fiasco there with the weighing, whatever, and that they weren't really sure that Tyson was even going to approve the reschedule, so that's why they were trying to repower the load instead. And then it turned out that Tyson went ahead and approved the repower after I had already picked the load up from him. I was not aware that a request was put in to reschedule the load, and it sounded like they weren't expecting it to happen anyway. And so they asked me to repower it as a backup just in case, and that's when I got screwed with, like, I could have been delivering this yesterday. But so I was pissed, and so I started putting in message in there saying there better be detention pay or layover pay out of this, because I could have been home and I could have been delivering my own load 4 hours earlier than what you guys are now having me set up for this one. So I got ironed out. They took care of me. I got approved for detention, for layover, and what do I keep filling up here? I almost feel like there's like a bug in my hair or something. Anyway, JCT will take care of you there in these kind of situations. If it's not, they know it was not your fault, that kind of thing happened, they'll hook you up. Asking. Yeah, especially a driver like me, when they know I'm an asset to them, and and I don't get mad about stuff very often. And I was mad at this situation, but when I understood the whole detail of how things played out, I was no longer mad at anybody at JCT. It was just a shitty situation that I understood why JCT did what they did, and I can't fault Krisha, the scheduler who set up that reschedule, whatever, because the reschedule got requested before I even got asked to do the repower. So it was what it was. Shit situation there, but whatever. Anyway, that's that. That's how I ended up here in Oakland now. At this point, no, I'm going to go ahead and, like I say, it's only a little after 5 a.m. here, and I don't deliver till 12:30. So from this point here, what I'm going to do is walk my bills from here over to where they're at and check in. And then once it's time to dock, then they'll call me up, and when it's time to dock in, I'll drive up there with my truck and check in again. And the dock doors were all on the right side, so depending on what dock door they assign you and what kind of, because usually there's containers parked across the lane from the dock doors, and it's kind of it's a tight area there. So if you're not very good with backing, or you don't have like really good backing habits, this can be a motherfucker to back into, depending on what door you get. Last time I came here, there was a bunch of containers, and then there was an opening to go around to the back side of those containers for another row of drop spots over there that the shag driver uses. And my dock door was almost right in front of that opening. I think it was like one spot over from that opening. So what I ended up doing in that case, I just nosed in. I drove in nose first to the lot, and then went up into that gap there between the last container and the fence over on the east end there, and got myself as close to a straight back setup as I could. It was basically, I would call it an offset blind side, and then came in, and then came in at an angle, facing in a blind side direction, but squared up with my trailer. And once my tractor could clear that last container, and my trailer was angled right, I just put it right in there. So a little bit tricky, but it was an easy time getting it in there because of the door they gave me and what I had to work with, and just good execution. But there was another guy who tried to dock in 2 doors over from me, and he did not have an easy time with that. Yeah, because you're going to see that you got the fence line, and it's narrow, and then the fence line goes out that way, further away from the dock doors. And then next to that fence are a bunch of containers, and the front end of the containers is further in from where this fence line is over here. But so if you got one of the dock doors that's further off to the left, this fence line over here, this more tight fence line area, can interfere with your setup space. And you can do a jackknife backing with the space there between the corner of the fence and where the containers are at. You'll see. But this guy didn't have the greatest setup correction and other fundamental habits either. So, I mean, he had kind of an idea. Like, he looked like he was experienced, but had bad fundamentals, basically, to me. And if you have bad, it doesn't matter how good a driver, how experienced a driver you are. If you have bad fundamentals, that kind of a backing there, you're going to have a hell of a time with getting into. And he did. I think the guy, it ended up getting to where the guy who was docked in next to him voluntarily disconnected from his trailer and got out of the way so this guy could have more room to maneuver his trailer in without hitting anything. So this can be difficult. We'll see how it goes, and depending on where you back in, it might be best to also to back into the lot. But I can't remember for sure how that goes. I can't remember. I don't think there's enough space there in between the dock doors and where the containers at to get turned around. But I could be wrong. I can't remember. I think you either have to nose in and just blindside in, or back into the lot, and in order to get set up for sight side. All right. Anyway, so we'll press on with this footage when it's time to deliver, right? All right, guys. Finally got a dock door. Checked in at 11:30 for a 12:30 appointment, and it's already about 8 p.m. now. And just getting the door assignment. I said door 28. much room there's going to be. Usually they have containers over there, but we'll find out in a second.
What load?
28.
All right, sir.
Next. Checking the seal number. Yeah, last time I came here they had containers over there on the other side, but they might have gotten rid of them now. I heard a rumor they did. I know some of them are still there, but there is room. Okay, let me get my doors open. Yeah, I'll be able to get turned around on that pad if nothing else. I know 18 was over here, so we're going to be pretty far down here. Oh, it's 28 right there. Okay, let me get turned around then. Might be easier for me to just come back like this, use this open area here, and then turn around. Right in between those two trucks. It's going to be a challenge here. I don't think this yard mule here is going to help me out either. Or him being parked there. Tandems are way out in Timbuktu. I can pivot around. Need a little bit less rotation there. Need more roll. So just kind of work this out. until my tandems are a good spot. And just alright. There, let's straighten out so my trailer doesn't start, so the front of my trailer doesn't get in position to hit this guy. Okay, so I'll definitely not say this is the easiest packing I ever did. But it was pretty damn well executed, as you might see there. I thought my tandems were actually out too far away from the door, too far in front of these guys here at first, but it turned out it ended up working out perfectly. You see, what I did for execution was just did the tandems pretty much right in front of the spot, maybe a little bit on this other guy's side, the guy on my side, and just basically did a jackknife kind of rotation back in there. Thankfully, there was enough room for me to work with for the tractor. It was just being able to chase it in is where the problem was, and I just did the 4x4 technique there. Get the trailer in here first. That's always the fundamental that I was talking about. I was just talking to James Kelly about this in person yesterday when I met up with him at the TA in Sparks, because he was there at the same time I was. And actually, he got a chance to watch me help a step deck driver get into a spot across the lane from where James was parked, and kind of showed him how I go about like spotting, where I position myself, what kind of signaling I do, whatever. Really, I don't normally do anything more than just give a thumb up or kind of a circular motion to say when it's okay to start turning to chase it in. That guy, the step deck driver yesterday, he made things a lot harder than it needed to be. But I was being careful not to try to overcoach. Let him do his thing and just let him know that he's clear, and that's it. Because he gold a couple times, and I was inside James's truck talking to him when this guy he had already gold twice. So I was like, it's time to get out and help him out, because I can tell he could probably use it. So I didn't do much to make you guys, you flatbedders, look pretty good with the backing skills. Alright, anyway, like I say, this is just textbook fundamental stuff right here that I did here. That's why it looked like it was, I made it look as easy as it did. Anyway, wife's calling. We'll have some more footage here when we check out, alright? We'll see you guys in a second here. Alright guys, finally all done here. It's 11 p.m. I'm the only one here either. We pull forward, get my doors closed, and send the departure info, and we get rolling. I need to get rolling toward my next load, which is the Prino load in Lemoore, going to Florida again. You're gonna ask me for load info right now. I'm already done with it. Okay, we're getting ready to get rolling here. I had to figure out where to wash my truck, my trailer out. I mean, because being 11 p.m., most of the truck washes are closed at this time. So I don't want to go over to Blue Beacon and Lodi. That's out of the way for where I'm going. So but it looks like there might be there's a truck wash over by the Amazon warehouse, DC or fulfillment center, whatever you want to call it, over in Patterson. Looks like it might possibly be open 24 hours. So try going that way, and this trailer is a little bit dirty, so it does need to get washed. Good there. All right, appreciate it. Well, I guess consolation here is I'm gonna get detention pay out of this, and I get to drive at night again like I like to. But nobody's out on the road. It's real easy to get around. And I do expect that I'll be home as well. They sometimes do use those tracks. I saw these tracks get used twice at least today, so definitely don't want to stop on those. This sign always cracks me up. It always says left lane, but no, I want to get in. I want to be in the right lane to get on southbound 880. Alright, so we'll go ahead and wrap this up when we get on to back on to 880. This guy's afraid to pass me, it looks like. Okay, well that's gonna pretty much wrap this one up. Say it went about 11 or so hours, almost 11 hours, 10 and a half hours. After my appointment time, so, and I start collecting $40 an hour in detention pay after I get past 4 hours. So. It sounds like it's going to be about 240 or 260, somewhere around that dollars in detention pay I'm more likely going to get out of this. So I can't complain. I'm more than happy to take that. So that's why I don't complain about getting delayed there. And like I say, I get to drive at night now when nobody's there's hardly as much traffic out here to interfere with me. So, alright, well, that's all I have. I'm going to be stopping at the Flying J in Patterson to get my... I was trying to just turn on my windshield wipers and accidentally turn on my high beams with it. Anyway, reefer fuel and at the Flying J in Patterson, and right up the street from there is that truck wash. I'm going to give it a try, or at least call up and see if they're going to be open. So that's what's going on. Then head down to Lemoore to pick up my reload and head out to Florida with it. I'll be stopping. I basically take it to my house first, and then do a 10-hour break there, and then maybe a little bit longer. I don't know. Then we'll go from there. So I'm running on recaps anyway. So all right, you guys all have a great night.